Hello everyone, welcome to the Python in Practice project. On these videos we are going to learn how the FastAPI framework works. Also, in parallel we will learn the Python syntax, constructions and so on. And we will learn how the FastAPI auto-generated Swagger UI can be configured in the FastAPI framework, and how the front-end requests interact with the backend side. And in browser developer tools we will check the actual requests, responses, status codes, requests content, and many other things. To start working with the FastAPI framework, you need to have the Python 3 installed on your system, and also one of the IDE tool, for example PyCharm, which is comfortable for you to interact with the Python language. And now let's dive into the coding. So let's start. The documentation is located on this fastapi.com domain, and here we can see that it suggests to set up different modes for FastAPI, but we will use more low-level ability to install the FastAPI and UVcorn packages. So let's start. Here I have the empty folder and PyCharm opened against this empty folder. First of all, let's create the virtual environment to help us to manage the packages, because I don't want to set up this environment on my global level, and I want to install it directly into this Python basics folder, like a local configuration of this project for the environment. So the command here, like this. So in this case we created virtual environment and package should appear here. Yeah, you see we have this WAN folder. So we will install everything inside of this WAN folder. Let's activate it. Yeah, so in this case everything that I will run as a pip install will be installed directly here into virtual environment. Let's install the FastAPI and UVcorn. Yes, it's installed. And now, according to the documentation, we should create the main py file here. Yes, and let's check what documentation suggests us to start the application. So inside of the main py file, we can put this content. But I just want to copy the part of this content related to creation of the one of the endpoint. Let's copy it and paste it here. So you see we have the one endpoint which returns just hello world constant dict. So let's start the application here. The command is UVcorn main app -- reload. Reload means that everything that we will do here in the code base will reload the server. So if I change something here and save it, you see the server restarted, and it will do this each time when I change any file in the application. So now we can go to the browser, open the localhost 8000, the default port, and we can see that hello world is returned. And for example, if I go to the docs, we can see that auto-generated Swagger UI. So here we have just one endpoint with the root path, and we can try it using this button, try it out, and we can see the same response, hello world. And for example, if we check in the networking of the developer tools, so if we click here on the network, fetch XHR, make the request, and you see it perform the get request to the localhost 8000, and here we can see the response, hello world, from the server. So in this case, Swagger UI is some kind of front end and documentation at the same time, which we can use to check, to test, and to work with our endpoints that we have on the backend. Now let's go back to the PyCharm and let's add the additional application inside of our project, which I'm going to call as entities. And inside of these entities, let's create the first file as a views. And here in the views, we can copy all the code, put it here, and these endpoints that we are going to have here will be related to the entities functionality. So we are going to create the kind of namespace in our projects for the entities, and in future we will have more applications here to separate them by functionality. So first of all, let's keep it as it is, but instead of initializing of application here, we will initialize the router here. So let's create the router instead of this app. Let's import it. By the way, to import you can click, for example in this case, you can click Alt, Enter, and it will help you to, like, sometimes it has the context menu and you select the specific import if you have multiple of them. But in general, clicking of Alt and Enter, it uses the automatic import. And here instead of app, add router, like it will be router get. Then we should go to the main pipe file, remove here this endpoint, and just include the router from the entities application. Again, let's import it, and let's add the alias for this router, which is router. Also, we have to add prefix here as v1 API. It means that we will have the first version and the prefix as an API, and also tags. Tags will help us to separate endpoints for each application. Yes, and that's really it. Let's go back to our browser, reload the page, and you see we have the entities. It's from tag, v1 API endpoint, and if we make the request, it again return the hello world response, and we see that the request is done for the v1 API, and we have the response as a hello world. Thank you for watching. See you on the next videos.